Trapeze Artist will be remembered by race fans not only as being a fantastic Group 1 winning sprinter, but also for some of the highs he brought those closest to him going through some incredibly tough times. The wife of his owner, Bert Vieira, remains in hospital after a car accident, while his former jockey, Ty Angland, is bravely getting on with life after suffering a severe spine injury. But the sight of this fantastic thoroughbred galloping around the paddocks at Widden Stud is sure to excite all who love this very special horse.
On a stud farm, it's a lot about the success of the stallions you have, and to add the stallions we are this season to a fabulous existing roster, it's a very exciting time for us. And in Trapeze Artists we do have what I believe is the most commercial first season side to go to stud this year. It's what the buyers want, it's what the breeders want. The gun sprinter, such an imposing horse, and he really dominated on the track, and I'm sure he'll be that sort of stallion at stud, a real dominant sort of colt.
He's starting to extend away. Here's a big win in the Golden Rose for Trapeze Artist in Ty Angland.
Well, he's by, now the three-time champion Australian sire in Schnitzel, but he's different in some ways, isn't he? He's sort of a longer type of horse and a much scopier type of horse, isn't he, than his sire?
Yeah, he has all that Schnitzel speed and strength, and he has a little bit more scope and a little bit more leg, which will be brilliant. He'll suit so many other mares, and he'll just add that real dominance and real presence. And I think he was a great yearling himself. He was a real standout type. I think he had over 35 X-ray hits at the sales. When John North had him, he said he'd never seen a response to a horse like it at the yearling sales. And he's that sort of horse that just has great presence, and I think he'll be that type of stallion, and you'll see it in his stock.
And of course the dam side too, which is a big part of what makes a great stallion. The dam's a half sister to a Stradbroke winner Crawl. You've got Marching, Boardwalk Angel, Activation, Distill, all in a really, really strong female line.
It's a great colonial sort of pedigree. It's tough, sound and fast, and that's exactly what he was. You get the best from both sides there.
Trapeze Artist just said ta-ta.
It's a great sign. I'd love to see a horse come out and win their first start as a 2-year-old. He did it easily. He pricked his ears. He at that stage you thought, wow, this is a really exciting colt that Gerald Ryan's got on his hands, and he really backed up that debut victory and really franked that when he started from the outside barrier in the Black Opal and took no prisoners. He really stepped up from there, did it easily. You saw a proper racehorse in the making, and I think at that stage Gerald Ryan knew this sort of big raw colt was going to be something special. He certainly was an impressive 2-year-old. The second colt home in the slipper, he was very good there. He backed that up in the sires and earned his Group 1 placing. So a Group winning 2-year-old, Group 1 placed, but as when he was a 3-year-old we really saw him stamp it and really come into his own. A very special moment and a very special day, and as it turns out in hindsight, just how stunning it was. And to see him come out and really blow those horses away the way he did, and that's a word you hear a lot with Trapeze Artist, is dominant, and certainly everyone around him come to the grand finals. He was that colt that could really dominate.
Trapeze Artist going after Redzel. Redzel a neck in front, a head in front. Trapeze Artist goes past him.
The autumn of 2018 he won the Expressway, then he rattled off those 2 fabulous Group 1s. The highlight sprint at the Sydney autumn, the TJ Smith, where he beat Redzel by 2 lengths, and I just loved how he really kind of leapt down, up that rise, and then he of course had to really battle with Redzel before he pulled away from the dual Everest winner.
Yeah, 3-year-old weight parade performances historically are very significant for stallions, and these 2 weight parade performances, no colt, 3-year-old colt, has won the TJ and then come out and backed it up in the all age. He did it, and again did it not just beating who was there, but beating the clock as well. Black Caviar's race record in the TJ Smith, to break that, you just don't dream it could be done. Turn it round in the all age and break the Randwick track record. So not only is he beating all comers at weight for ages, the 3-year-old, but he's beating the clock as well. And I think those two performances were very, very significant and very special.
Redzell leads all the way from Trapeze Artist.
The Everest itself, of course, bringing together the elite sprinters from around Australia with the slot holder concept, and he was second to Redzell and in his second Everest win. So that is no mean feat again in that spring.
Yeah, it's a new race, an important race, and obviously it's going to become a big, significant sire-making race, and he's going to be one of the first colts to start out of the Everest. And I think not just he's a brilliant horse, but he could continue turning up in those grand finals and putting up those big performances, and he was that sort of horse throughout his racing career at 2, at 3, and then again at 4.
Trapeze Artist will lead all the way in the Canterbury Stakes.
The special win for Bert Vieira and his family in the Group 1 Canterbury Stakes in March of this year. So I just loved how he kicked away, and when Scholes started to make ground, he sort of almost looked to hear her and flick his ears back, and then he really dug in to keep ahead. He's obviously a really intelligent, smart horse who knows his trade.
A great Group 1. I think it was a field of nearly, I think, all bar one Group 1 winners there. You had Scholes and Prompt Response. Obviously the Doncaster winner in Brutals there, Kementari, a hot field, and again that domination that we'd seen throughout his career to the 4, and again another Randwick race record or track record. You never know what's around the corner, and certainly Bert and Ty had everything going so well for them when they won the TJ and the ride they were on. Unfortunately, some tragic circumstances have followed since, but to see the joy out of Trapeze Artist that certainly Bert and his family and now Ty, it's a wonderful thing, and that was a very, very special night for Ty to be there with his family, and a great generous idea of Bert's to auction that nomination at the chairman's sale, and it was just a wonderful evening, and raised some great, much needed money for the Anglin family. I think people like the fact he was such a good, fast, dominant sprinter, and he's got longevity, his sound. He wasn't just rushed off to stud. We saw him really dominate at 3, and there's a lot of pressure on Bert to put him to stud, but he's a sportsman. He took him on at 4 and proved he's the top horse at 4 as well, and another Group 1 win and some great performances. So I think the breeders have really valued that, and they've jumped on board, and we're thrilled with the cross-section of mares from a variety of sire lines. He's a standout amongst the stallions going to stud any season. When you say the Longines world highest rated sprinter, that puts it in perspective. 4 Group 1s, 3 records. He's the champion 3-year-old of his generation. He was the highest rated, Timeform rated horse in Australia of his year. You can't ask for any more in a horse, and certainly in this guy, he's everything you want in every way.